Welcome back to the Charismatic Voice. I came out of maternity leave for this. I just really want to analyze Linkin Park's new song, especially because since we last analyzed their voices, I've seen down the throats of 4 artists who create similar sounds. And I also just really like Linkin Park's direction. So even though I feel like a beached whale with allergies right now, let's get to it.
Inside it feels like I'm barely breathing. Feels like air is running out. Inside I'm stuck here staring at a ceiling. You put up to keep me down, 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 down.
Waking up without a name, open up my eyes knowing nothing is the same. Circling around a drain as I realize that there's no one else to blame.
You keep me waiting down.
I am so excited about all the energy in this. I love the way that they've had a couple of drops and then reignitions of energy already. Emily's voice sounds like so good here. She's got amazing focus on her resonance and it's got such a nice, clean efficiency in the two vocal folds coming together for that pitch. I think it's such an incredible combination with Mike's sound too. I'm so impressed with their sound overall. Let's go back to the beginning. I'm going to pick out some details to get nerdy about. So I actually immediately want to draw attention to that kind of sound that essentially helps us dive into the music. They have a lot of extra production that's gone into the sounds between the music, essentially. This is kind of like a la Metallica, where you have, it feels sometimes like film elements. I also would relate it to a lot of indie electronic music at times because it's really pulling from that more heavily produced sound. There are lots of things that essentially are connecting the dots, and what I would say is they're essentially stimulating our hearing so we hear with even more appreciation. How many sounds went into that one sweep? And that sound that's lower, it actually sounds, that was one of the main things that made me think indie electronic from hearing the first minute or so. It sounds like a super produced voice, like what you hear. I recently related something similar to Galantis or to Porter Robinson, right? Where you have voices that have tons of production on them, so much so that you're not even sure sometimes if it's still a voice. Lots of urgency. Second drop there. So just take a moment here, and again, that silence between, it's like it's trying to percolate our eardrums.
Inside it feels like I'm barely breathing. Feels like air is running out. Inside I'm stuck here staring at a ceiling. You put up to keep me down, 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 down.
Waking up without a name.
Yo. When I say that Emily has really fantastic resonance or focus on the voice, I'm really talking about how that sound is essentially bouncing off of bones in her face, or how the sound waves have been directed. Now, my voice right now has horrible resonance, at least to me, because I'm super stopped up, got pregnancy rhinitis on top of getting over a cold. So it's like the worst of all worlds, so much congestion. And that means that the sound waves have problems getting out, right? There's mucus in between where the sound waves are created and, well, you/the microphone that's right there. Emily's voice it has such a clean edge. So I hear, first of all, that at the vocal fold level, when the vocal folds come together and go wacka, wacka, wacka to create that pitch, it's very efficient. I don't feel like she's wasting a bunch of air. It sounds like the collision isn't too hard. It's just very balanced. It sounds like a really, really sustainable, nice sound. It also isn't particularly heavy, which is fantastic when we think about that longevity once again. It's like she's got a nice, lean, pointed machine there. And then once that sound's been made, it travels up the vocal tract. So gets made right here at the true vocal folds, and it goes, and then there's so many different ways you can direct how that sound comes out. If it goes up into the nasal cavity, you get like a little bit of a tiny bit of nasality on the edge, which can be great for having a little bit of focus. A lot of times we talk about focusing the sound in the mask to create this like extra buzz, which is essentially activating more overtones or resonance. So when we hear her voice in this part, you might hear like a little brightness, a little ring to it. That's that buzz from directing her sound at the mask or sort of bones in the front of her face.
You're staring at a ceiling. You put up to keep me down, 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 down.
Waking up without a name, opening my eyes, knowing nothing is the same. Circling around a drain, as I realize that there's no one else to blame.
You keep me waiting down here, so far below, staring up from the bottom, up from the bottom. I try escaping, but there's nowhere to go. Staring up from the bottom, up from the bottom.
Ooh, I love the swing up at the end of the chorus there. Oh, that's cool. That was really cool. I really love the sort of lightly layered in harmonies as well. We got a much thicker sound when we got to this chorus. And you've got like a doubling that's down below. I'm guessing you have Mike in there doubling below too, but mostly we're hearing Emily's voice forward and center. Really, really lovely layers. A tiny bit of edge that we're hearing in the sound. I'm gonna let it run more though before I talk about how that edge might be created.
So far below, staring up from the bottom, up from the bottom. I try escaping, but there's nowhere to go. Staring up from the bottom, up from the bottom.
Oh, it's so cool.
Each time I hold my fist inside my pocket.
That was cool. That was a really cool compositional technique, songwriting technique. So instead of having a full instrumental break where they run all the way through this harmony pattern they've set up before, they actually cut it halfway off and had her dive straight back into a verse. It essentially hooked us in earlier. It was relentless, is how I describe it. It didn't really give us a true full break.
From the bottom. Each time I hold my fist inside my pocket.
Nice harmony.
Hold my breath until I'm blue. Feels like a knife pushed deep inside a socket. Bristling, listening to you.
Waking up without a name, open.
That's cool. I think the harmonies are super tasteful in here and that they've balanced them really well with the lead. As we've gone on, we've heard more and more distortion enter Emily's sound. And that's one of the things that excites me so much to study right now, especially coming from this opera singer background where you're like, all I ever did was create lovely, clear, very powerful and dramatic sounds. But I feel that there's this extra set of colors that all genres of music could really benefit from, either in cross-training or even in adding to the overall performance of when you look at vocal distortion. So I'm really talking about that gritty edge, right? Distortion, same way we talk about guitar distortion. And I'm specifying that because, oh my word, you wouldn't believe how difficult it is to settle on terminology to describe these sounds right now. Tough. Let's listen to this verse again, and I'll point out some of the moments where she has the most distortion and how that might be created.
Push deep inside until I'm
Back further. Oh, there you go. There was one. Ooh. I would guess a retinoid with that.
Each
Let's see.
time I hold my fist inside my pocket.
Yeah. So that one, when we're talking about distortion, sometimes I like using the word granularity. That was one of my favorite ones that's come up in conversations recently. I think it's so great to describe distortion, especially vocal distortion. Like there was a little more room and regularity between the rattle on pocket there. Whoops, let's do it again.
My fist inside my pocket.
Or she just adds it in a little bit. She's got a nice touch with that. It's like she's got like a little meter that she can give a little more or a little less. I like that control. I would guess that it probably has something to do with an arytenoid rattle. That's a structure, by the way, that's above the true vocal folds. True vocal folds create a pitch. Okay, they create a pitch. Above that, you have the false vocal folds. Sometimes we call these ventricular or vestibular. We have three names for one structure. Yes, thank you. Sorry about that. I apologize in advance for, again, all of the messed up terminology. But those are right above your two vocal folds. We associate those often with subharmonics, but also a lot of really, really low growls. And then above them, you have these arytenoid cartilages. They look like these kind of like weird knobbly things. And sometimes people are more adept with one arytenoid side than the other. It's kind of amazing. People's voices are like hardly ever symmetrical. Just you look at them and you go like, wow, yeah, we're all kind of messed up inside in some way. In the best of ways, because that makes such unique sounds. So from the sounds I've heard recently from artists creating similar sounds, I would guess that that's probably an arytenoid cartilage. There was a certain regularity and, gosh, yeah, there was a space between the distortion bits that sounded to me more akin to arytenoids. But crazy thing is, this research is still really, really new. And I could be totally wrong. And I love that. I want to find out all the spots that I'm wrong about. However, I can tell you that that particular sound that she made, I do not think it's made with her true vocal folds. It really sounds like it's an upper laryngeal structure that made it.
Each time I hold my fist inside my pocket. Hold my breath until I'm blue. Feels like a knife pushed deep inside a socket. Bristling, listening to you.
So there were a couple more moments in there where we got distortion on like bristling and knife, and it started to feel not as regular as that first one, which made me think, oh, maybe she's bringing in a few more structures. One of the huge mind-blowing elements from recently seeing down several artists' throat, several like top performers' throats, is that the structures that are up above are far less isolated than I'd anticipated. There, we see the area epiglottic, we see the arytenoid, we see the false folds and the epiglottis and the back of the tongue. All of this stuff can sometimes get set in motion together, and you see like, oh, that's contributing to the sound, and that's contributing to the distortion. So it sounded to me like we were getting essentially more complex versions of the distortion in a few of those because they were a little bit less regular, maybe a little less isolated.
Bristling, listening to
Waking up without a name, opening my eyes, knowing nothing's gonna change. Circling around a drain, as I realize that there's no one else to blame.
you. Keep me waiting down
I
here,
love
so far
that.
below, staring up from the bottom, up from the bottom. Try escaping, but there's nowhere to go. Staring up from the bottom, up from the bottom.
Everybody out there, devil is coming. Poison on his lips and his words mean nothing. Cold like a mountaintop, father never loved him. Mama said he's bad enough times that it's sunk in. Everybody out there, devil is coming. Promise you the world, but he's always bluffing. Before you even know it's a trap you're stuck in. He's gone like a ghost, already off running.
Gosh, what I mean, not only fantastic rapping delivery. I'm not specialized in rap. I'm specialized in voice, so I can talk about it to a degree. But I'm still, I hope that when I come back from having a baby, Not right now. But eventually, I'm really hoping to collaborate with somebody else who's super specialized in rap because I want to learn a lot more about the nuances of it. Um, Gosh, if I was to direct you, I know I've watched some of Knox's stuff, Knox Hill's stuff. He's done an amazing job. There have been so many other YouTube creators out there who are really fantastic at breaking down rap. Go check out their videos as well. And the thing I really liked about this section was listening to how the voice was produced underneath. There's this sub layer that's there that has like some definitive pitching. It sort of reminds me again of that indie electronic element. They have a lot of fantastic electronic elements in Linkin Park. And I loved the way that they essentially created a harmony for the rap section. Rap it's between speech and singing, right? Sometimes it has like a narrower band of the pitch of the voice, but it's not a sustained pitch the way that singing really is sustained. It's this like zone between, which is amazing. And and so when we talk about having harmony with rap, that like that almost doesn't even work in concept because a pitch can be harmonized with. We're looking at how a pitch above and a pitch below, how those go together, how their overtones match up to create or enhance a particular harmonic structure. When we're talking about rapping, if you have a sung part in a rap song, then that's harmonized. But just the like between speech and singing, yeah, that doesn't you don't really harmonize with it, but this section actually does.
Everybody out, that devil is coming. Poison on his lips and his words mean nothing. Cold like a mountaintop, father never loved him. Mama said he's bad enough times that it's sunk in. Everybody out, that devil is coming.
There's so many layers actually to the voice there, which is so cool. I've got a really clear one in the left and the right. They aren't panned super far to the side. They're still fairly central, building and like enhancing essentially the main vocal that we're hearing from Mike here. But you can hear a couple of different voices on the sides that those voices sound like they were deliberately pitched to to build a harmonic structure around the rap.
That devil is coming. Poison on his lips and his words mean nothing. Cold like a mountaintop, father never loved him. Mama said he's bad enough times that it's sunk in. Everybody out, that devil is coming. Promise you the world, but he's always bluffing. Before you even know it's a trap you're stuck in. He's gone like a ghost, already off running.
I love the way that our structure, or I should say our composition overall has become thinner here as well. So we can really appreciate that. There have been a number of times when we have Mike rapping in here, and I feel that it's important when you have a voice that's speaking and not belting, it's just not going to pierce through the same way. So you need to feature it in a particular way. This sort of building of the harmonies underneath and lessening a little bit of the sound wall behind it really helps to feature better, and it creates this incredible ebb and flow to the song. Really, really cool.
Said he's bad enough times that it's sunk in. Everybody out, that devil is coming. Promise you the world, but he's always bluffing. Before you even know it's a trap you're stuck in. He's gone like a ghost, already off running.
If you just take a moment to appreciate that everything other than his single-centered voice on running is dropped. And then we go into this high-speed force of music right afterwards. It gives you this sense of running. It's simple, but so effective.
And he's gone like a ghost, already off running.
Fantastic use of her lower register there. That's nice because a lot of times you just have Emily belting out, and you need to have more dynamic variation in a great song than just belting the whole time. I love that we have, gosh, it's actually such rapid ebb and flow throughout the song and a lot of different variety in how they achieve that as well. Really, really cool. One of the things that can be challenging in a live performance is to really nail that lower section. When a singer has been belting for a long time, a lot of times the vocal folds become a little bit naturally swollen and the voice will just naturally raise as well. So when you have a sudden lower section like this, uh, in a live performance especially, you have to sort of uh, listen to the body, be like, okay, yo, calm that breath down. Sometimes singers will even do like a little bit of to hum down a little bit before they get to that section, just to make sure it's there. It's one of the most frequent things to lose sound quality in any performance.
Me waiting down here, so far below, staring up from the bottom, up from the bottom. I try to escape it, but there's nowhere to go. Staring up from the bottom, gotta get out of here. From the bottom, gotta get out of here.
Whoa. Shoot, I really want this song to last longer. I loved the expansion up to the top that was right there. And just one more word before we wrap this up, and we'll have some cool rap at the end, I'm sure. Hopefully, I'll come up with something, pregnancy brain and all. But I've been loving these lyrics throughout. I did read them ahead of time. Hopefully, this is so new. I don't know if these lyrics are totally correct, but so far it seems like they've tracked pretty well. I love that there have been some amazing, there's a lot of themes about self-realization and improvement and really struggling through in Linkin Park. It's one of the things I really like about Linkin Park. They feel like they're fighting for life in so many ways, and that's especially poignant after Chester's passing. But there's an amazing acceptance of responsibility that I heard in the lyrics. I realized that there's no one else to blame is one of the lines that really stuck up to me. Also, this up from the bottom. I love the idea of seeing. A lot of times when you're in a really dark place, you don't see any way out. I love the way that this is acknowledging that maybe somebody's at rock bottom, but they can still look up. I think that in itself is just encouraging. And this gotta get out of here is this idea that you need to claw your way out. I've been through depression. I've worked through it several times in life. It is really, really, really tough. And I've clawed my way out in lots of different circumstances. And so I just really relate to these lyrics. I feel like they hit me. I love that there's both acceptance of responsibility and this desire to fight, right? They increase that desire to fight, which can really dwindle when you're really in a super dark place. So I'm really, really digging the lyrics. Let's go through to the end now. Yeah, that's a nice distortion on top. Ooh. Cool visualizations at the end too. This is totally worth it. This is worth being 36 weeks pregnant and being like, you know what? I'm still gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. It's so exciting and invigorating. I love the force of the sound. I love the combination of Mike's voice with Emily's, and then just this rush of energy as the sound hits you, the way it ebbs and flows so rapidly throughout. It's so exciting. Anyhow, I really, really, really liked it. I'm really glad I did it. Thank you. And if you want to see some more analysis that I've done in the past of Linkin Park, check out this post over here. May you fall more in love with music every day.